Welcome, Team Wilpers crew. My name is Justin Harris. I'm one of the coaches at Team Wilpers and guiding you through our challenges this year. Welcome to our athlete briefing number 6. All right, number 6. This is a 6-week plan. So that means this is the last one. All right, last one for now, but we have a lot of great things coming at you. But first, we need to talk about what's going on now and to get you on your way to achieving results, training healthy, and training smart. Okay. First things first, questions in the chat. So if you're watching this on Facebook live or you're watching on YouTube live, you can comment in. I'll see the chat, and if you have any questions about the topics we're going to talk about or things popping up otherwise, put them in the comments and I will get going. One of the things is, like, you can follow us, Team Wilpers running page, Facebook page, Instagram at Team Wilpers. You can follow me at J Harris Coaching on both platforms. But what is this all about? All right, week 6. We are here in action about finishing out the plan the right way, in the accurate way, and so that you can get results. So the big ender, the big thing is the 20-minute test. And I will get into that a little bit. We always have questions. What is it about? How should I pace myself? Do I really need to do it? I'm going to tackle all that. All right. But first thing first, let's check in with week number 5. So currently the week you're in, this is the big week. All right. So this time in the challenges, I tried something a little bit different. If we're working with different athletes, there's different training kind of approaches to take with progressive overloading. And so with the default setting, which is if you just sign up and you don't pay for making it more difficult or making it easy, you're going to get the default, the moderate level, the in the middle. All right. And I made sure that progressed on certain days. I didn't want to progress everything every day. I know I'm getting some feedback of we like changes or things to progress a little bit more quickly or a little bit more exciting. And, there's places for that. And I really appreciate that feedback. So if you have feedback, you can DM me, you can message me, because we want these to be successful. But when we look at it, there really is, a normal distribution sampling, all right, from my stats days. But 95% is in the middle, right? And so we're really trying to match the middle. Some of you are going to be doing more. Some of you are going to be doing less. Some of you are going to be able to run faster. Some of you, it's a little bit too much. So this is why we're providing options for you to choose your difficulty level. I love those Goosebump books or whatever it was, like Choose Your Own Ending. They were so much fun, right? So the same thing is set up here. But what I did was I didn't match everything how to progress. Sometimes I progress the more difficult version because of, just our skill as coaches to figure out when is the right time to stimulate and how quick can you adapt to some of these things. And then how do you stabilize the training that you're doing? I think a lot of people think, all right, stimulate, adapt. All right, hard workout, I adapted to it. Well, when we really look at adaptation takes, depending on the session, can be anywhere from 7 to 14 days from one single session, right? So if I do a hard workout here, when am I going to receive the benefits? Well, you first have to recover from it, but we're not just doing one workout and doing nothing. So it takes a little while, all right? So if you're going and toggling between the two, it's not as straightforward this time. I'm playing around with it. Provide me feedback. Yeah. So anyway, this is the big week for everyone, though. All right. Long runs up, the weekly volume's up. And so you have all the things that we've been working on from the previous times. All right. We're in block 2. And so it's the biggest one. It's a 6-week plan. So this is the most we're going to do. And again, we're trying to gear people towards kind of the 10K and half marathon. And yes, can you train someone for a 10K or a half marathon in 6 weeks? No, you cannot. All right. From couch to here, it takes a little bit longer, but we're setting you up to be successful and guiding you in that way. All right. And we're kind of making some assumptions, or at least I'm making some assumptions that, you've been doing some of these challenges. You're brand new to this and it seems like a little quick or fast. You got to kind of commit to some multiple challenges, as I've been telling a lot of my clients the past several days, Rome wasn't built in a day. All right. Fitness is not built in a day. Uh, it can be destroyed pretty quickly, though. We can blow it up. A lot of us here have at some point in time an injury, an illness, or just really fatigued when we're coaching ourselves. We all have done it in some facet. But if it took that long to build, it's going to take that long to rebuild it. All right. Not quite as long because your body remembers it. But anyway, so week 5, keep going on. Try not to do more, because the more you do now, it'll set you up for it'll kind of take away from next time. Okay. Next week and everything there. So don't try to bite more than you can chew here. If it feels a little bit easy, that's okay. You'll have a little bit more energy to give in next week in the 20-minute test. Okay. So one thing I wanted to point out is just this all access. So I mentioned how to change difficulty levels. All right. It's week 6. We've heard this before, but in case you're new to it or seeing this for the first time, or you're seeing this down the road on YouTube somewhere in the ethers of YouTube, you can change difficulty levels. All right. And in order to do that, you have to be an all access member. It's $10 a month or $9.95. It's like 33 cents a day. It's super cheap. You get access to strength training that is written for this particular plan, and our trainings that coincide with it. So you don't have to figure out when to do what. It's all built in for you. It's already pre-decided. So a little cognitive offloading more than normal static plans. And then, so difficulty level, training plans, strength, a lot of great features here. Okay. So let's get on to the crux of this. All right. Week 6, testing. All right. I called it in the app and whatnot is testing and transition. So essentially, week 6 is about, preparing for the test and then transitioning to the next thing. And how do we go about doing that? So the the key things I kind of think about and I want to talk about is this idea of, the 20-minute test. So we get this all the time. Hey, I tested 6 weeks ago. It's really hard and I don't want to do it again. Well, it makes it really hard to assess progress or regression. All right. And sometimes we regress, and people, it's fair. You can blame the training. If you really look at your schedule, you're sleeping well, are you hydrating well, are you eating well, are you on top of your nutrients? What's the stress level like? Are you really listening to the training? Are you adding more maybe when you shouldn't be? Or maybe you're not really taking off when you should be. So there's convergence of all these things that overlap. But hopefully we're trying to set you up really to be successful. And in order to be successful, going into a competition. So imagine like maybe you have a race plan on that day. We have the 20-minute test. And if I do provide an option of a long run in case, you're not feeling great, or, you decide to not do it, and it's your choice. No one's forcing you to do it. Okay. So the big thing going into an event and I put it instead of, in the beginning, we do it on Monday, let's get started with it. But I put it here on Saturday for the weekend, right? So you still have training leading into it. And it's really important to model this, because when you're unloading or tapering, all right, and I use tapering because in air quotes, but tapering to me is, it's kind of been really demonstrative, like that's not the right word, demonstratized. That's not the right word. But tapering has become like a demon. Like it's like this like single pinnacle of like you have 1 day, 1 minute, 1 hour to peak. And it's like that's not what it's about. It's really about unloading volume to allow yourself to repair and recover and be ready to give a really big effort, right? And so unloading can happen for a long period of time. Professional runners, they can be in peak shape for like a month or so, right? And it doesn't mean they just keep backing off. There's linear unloading where we just keep reducing what we're doing. There's undulating unloading where we kind of pick things back up and, really cut back. There's all different kinds of ways to do it, right? And here we're just kind of linear unloading during the week as we go in. So you still have sessions to do. My recommendation is, as planned, is to reduce volume, but the intensity stays there. Okay. Be mindful of density. So what I talk about, what I mean by density is that, if I'm trying to reduce the density by reducing volume, if you increase the intensity by a lot, then that session stays roughly the same density, volume times intensity, more or less, right? So if you do the same intensity you've been doing, then you'll actually get the reduction in density that we want for the day, micro, and for the week. Well, the week is not a macro, but it's another micro, but a little bit bigger micro. Okay. So I'm not trying to get too technical here, but if you follow what's going on, that'll bring you right into the Saturday effort to test. Okay. So 20-minute distance test, I get asked this all the time. How do you do it? Well, if it's not, there's nothing simple or easy about it, because it's really challenging and it's hard. So where you're not mentally prepared for it, there's all these things. Essentially, the recommendation we give, or I give, I'll put this on me, but if we think about VO2 max being an effort you can maintain for 7 to 10 minutes, well, VO2 max pace is not the right pace to start off at for the 20-minute test. Okay. Threshold pace is something that we can hold. Threshold, technically we can hold it for an hour, but realistically probably like 45 or 50 minutes. So that's a little too slow. So my recommendation is to start at threshold, at least for the first 5 minutes. And if you don't feel comfortable, take it to 10. Maybe that's the best you have on that day. All right. But then from there, halfway on, you just start increasing the effort. So you make jumps on the tread, or you start applying more effort, and just keep going and going and going until, we want to be at a place where technically the best way to run this is at the very last, like 30 seconds, maybe we're starting to peter. It's hard to perfect, but if you skip the distance test all the time and you make it into this big bag monster, all right, we do have, it's the day after Halloween. All right. So it's, it's kind of fitting there, but the less you do it, the more you make it an issue. Whatever we resist persists. All right. And that's something I'm dealing with in my life. Right. So anyway, don't resist it, show up for it, but start somewhere around threshold pace and then be ready to move on from there. Don't run threshold pace to the last 1 minute and then you'll have too much left over. Okay. So some of the mistakes that I see, or we see when we talk to people about it, is this idea of like going out too strong, a little overzealous. All right. So, again, VO2 max, you should stay away from that. You can only do that. The best in the world can hold it for 10 minutes. So thinking that me or anyone else here can, rock VO2 max pace, unless your paces are way off. But then again, save it and rip it. And, you have like the last 5 minutes, you can make up a lot of effort and a lot of distance. Okay. The other thing I see is people are afraid of it and they go out too easy. So they're running more like half marathon or marathon pace based on the Team Wilpers zones, right? And so if you're going out too easy and you have a ton left over, it's just a missed opportunity, right? When you put on the bib, there's something about being conservative, but at the end of the day, we want to give it a good effort. And if you fail a little bit, like the last minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you'll be better off on how to fine tune it there from being too easy. And then, well, I had so much left over. Where do I pick it up? You're going to be lost in the sauce again. So think about those mistakes. We kind of want to Goldilocks it. And I think starting at threshold, at least for, first 3 to 5, 8 minutes, and then progressing from there. Again, if you run it a bunch of times and you have your way of running it, don't change it too much. Just keep fine tuning it and go from there. Okay. And so, so week 6 is about, really trying to back off the density by reducing volume so that you have the opportunity to perform well on the 20-minute test on Saturday. Okay. You can move it to another day if you want, but it is designed to go on Saturday. All right. Now, is it your best? Well, our job is to put you into a position where you have the opportunity to perform. And one way I describe it is like bumper rails for bowling. All right. Our job as coaches is to provide bumper rails. All right. So that you have some freedom to move in order for us to ensure that you knock some pins down. All right. Some people need really far bumpers because you deviate too much, but we're not trying to set this up on a rail, on the little push rails for the kids so that you throw a strike. That's not what it's about. Humans desire the ability to have autonomy and in order to gain mastery. All right. Daniel Pink great book, long time ago on how we work and how we're motivated for things. So we purposely leave some room here. All right. But we don't want you to throw a gutter ball. So that's why we provide these athlete briefings and all that stuff for you to watch and to get some information. All right. But the thing is we set it up. Well, you can just ignore everything we're saying and bash your head all the way down and knock one pin off, or the ball goes flying over the bumper. That's on you. Right. And so this doesn't always work for every person. All right. We try really hard. All right. And like I said, we're also not going to cinch it down so you only have one way to roll a strike. It's your job to hit a strike by listening and engaging and putting all the pieces that you learn from the training plans, each challenge stacking up to deliver you a different place to perform. And that's what this is really all about. All right. Matt's motto and here at Team Wilpers is to train smart. All right. Not harder, but smarter. Okay. So think about those things as we go on. A little plug is next Friday in New York City, our shakeout run for the New York City Marathon. I'll be there, so come and say hello. There'll be other coaches there. And we're meeting at Columbus Circle at the entrance to Central Park. So that's the southwest corner. All right. And we'll meet there. And it's at 10 a.m. We have information on Instagram and stuff like that. But it'll be Friday morning. We'll do it out and back and a little further. So we go out on the park a little bit against the course, and then we come back. It's about 30 minutes. No drop in the sense that, you can see us coming back. So pay attention. And then we finish right in front of the New York City marathon finish line. It's a no to cross it, bad juju. All right. And then we take some pictures and different stuff and say hello and chat. And then, and then hopefully if you're racing or you're just there to support, spread the word. It's open to everyone. You don't have to be an all access mentor or a one-on-one client. It's open to all. Okay. So some of the things, so that's it here. All right. It's this last athlete briefing. So what we have next too is there will be a bridge program, and then we have the winter training, which I'm finalizing right now. So hopefully we see you there. Any questions pop up, shoot me a DM, ask me questions, but truly consider backing off a little bit for the unloading bit in order to perform on the 20-minute test. So I'll hang out here for another minute if anyone has any questions or anything. But one thing that was popping up for me was kind of zones, like in different zones. One thing that I had someone email me us on, and so I'll touch on that really quickly. So our Team Wilper zones are a 5-zone system. It doesn't encompass all the zones. There's 3-zone systems, there's 4-zone systems, there's 5-zone systems, there's 7-zone systems. We try to match close to Peloton, and which is where a lot of people are coming from, but it's not exact. But it covers many of the bases here. It leaves out kind of true active recovery, like very slow running, and then it leaves out like kind of neuromuscular, like kind of nervous system brain function work that I personally do with my one-on-one clients. I think it's something that gets missed out sometimes, but there's good ways to do it and there's bad ways to do it. So we kind of leave out the real outliers and give you the bread and butter of training. So sometimes the zones don't exactly match up to different systems, and that's okay. We try to, again, make this a bell curve. We're trying to match 95% in the middle. If you have more questions or you want to really fine tune it to yourself, that's we do offer consultations for $100. I think it's one of the most underutilized things, and we offer one-on-one coaching to help people dial in these kind of training principles into your full schedule life in order to perform and be healthy. So anyway, all right. No chats here, no questions. So you all enjoy your weekend. I will see you in several weeks. Hopefully I'll see you at New York City on Friday morning at 10 a.m. for our shakeout run. I'll see you all until next time. See you on Facebook. Ask questions, engage, post your wins, post your losses. We're in this all together.